Hello everyone and welcome to a small SUV with a do-it-all and give-it-all attitude, the 2026 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. So this 2026 Tucson is exactly similar to the 2025 because not many changes have been done to this one. It comes with the ultimate hybrid all-wheel drive variant. So let's begin from the front. So you get this same design grille out here, very bold styling, aggressive and like curves and shoulder lines and so many things that are going on this car. It's very angular car for sure. And then this is like a dark chrome grille out here, and on the edges these bits that are chrome, they are the DRLs on either side, and the top side they convert into the turn signals. The main headlight cluster is situated out here at the bottom side, and again that's also the LED headlight cluster. There are also functional vents provided and more opening at the bottom side too for extra bit of cooling, and then normal plastic bumper in silver color. Even out here there is like normal plastic provided, and this golden color that's been given on this 2026 Tucson Hybrid. And underneath the front sits a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine along with an electric motor and a 1.49 kilowatt hour battery pack that sits at the bottom. And on the sides there are these 19-inch dual tone 5-spoke this sort of turbine design wheel, and there is also this plastic skirtings on the arches itself to protect the fender. And as you can see, there are more angles and lines it's been provided around, and more skirtings, thicker ones. Again, the design is exactly the same as the previous generation, so the thick skirtings actually cover the entire door frame. When we come to these doors, so these are the keyless entry doors, and the side mirrors, they are body colored side mirrors. They are non-power foldable, power adjustable. They have the blind spot warning on the inside, also a turn signal, and one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. There is also one more camera provided out here for the smart cruise control, which is for the adaptive cruise control, which is smart, so you can take your hands off and drive let the car drive itself, and also for the active and the passive safety systems. And the cameras provided all across are part of the surround view monitor as well as the blind spot view monitor. So the cameras on the side mirror, let me switch on the car and show you. When we switch it on, these dials show the feed on the respective feed, whichever side you are going to be turning, so you don't have to take your eyes off while you are driving. So that's like a safety feature. And there is one more interesting feature now included on this Tucson Hybrid, which is the remote smart parking assist. So here is the key fob. I'm going to lock the car. We press the lock twice and then switch on the car remotely. It's going to blink, and then you can hear because it's in hybrid mode, so it's not started the engine. And you press these buttons front and back, and once I press the front button, it's going to move the car ahead without me inside it. See, there's no one sitting, so let's take it back. So it's going to help you if you're stuck in a tighter parking spot. So in case someone's parked very close to you, you can move this car using your remote. And if you're hearing some sounds, that's basically from the speaker that's been mounted out here. Let me switch off the car first. So there's like a speaker, so that's basically blasting the sound. It's more louder when it's reversing. And even out here on the side body, there are lots of angles and lines and edges, and even in the back there is 19-inch wheels and the dull silver color plastic trim on the top side of the windows. In the rear there is this small spoiler body color, and also the wiper that's hiding behind that spoiler. This Hyundai badging which is behind the glass, Tucson badging. the H track, which is for the all-wheel drive, and the hybrid badge. And there is also a plug-in hybrid option available, and that's got 13.8 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now in the rear, again, the design is pretty similar. These claw shaped tail light cluster joined by this light bar, and this is the top bit is the LED rear lights, and the brake lights, they are also in LED, and the turn signals are situated at the bottom. So they are the split ones, again same like the previous generation, and the silver color bumper out here, plastic ones at the bottom, and the normal plastic bumper surrounding that. And these turn signals are the halogen turn signals, and also one of the cameras from the 360-degree camera system. And then once you open the trunk, it's motorized, and there are scuff plates provided in the back, and some humongous space to put your luggage. So when the rear seats are folded up, you can put 38.7 cubic feet of luggage, and it's literally flat. There are just a couple of arches, that's about it. Like, this car can gulp up so much of luggage. It's genuinely very impressive. There are also trunk lights and also a 12-volt power socket, along with these levers to fold down the seat. And at the bottom of this trunk floor sits a tire repair kit. So yeah, everyone's just stopped giving a spare wheel, and now you have to learn how to repair your own tire. And there are also tying points provided, along with some hooks to tie down things in the back. And the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and to do that, you pull this lever and fold down the seats, but then you have to go in the front and then sort of give a tap on the seats and then lock them in place. But when the rear seats are folded down, you can put 74.5 cubic feet of luggage, which is absolutely impressive trunk space. I haven't folded down the seats, but when you fold down the seats, it is literally flat. It's like you can see from here, like, yeah, there is no step or anything, so it's going to be very easy to slide your luggage in and out from this trunk space, and longer objects that you can put in. And also there is no step or anything out here, so that's going to come in pretty useful to put luggage inside this. And once we move on the inside, so on the door cards, there is soft touch material on the top. There is this fabric black color material on the sides where you're going to be resting. Has this leather cover, glossy plastics around the switches. At the bottom, normal plastic, and then Bose surround sound music system, Tucson badging on the door sills. And on the inside, the interior is in line with the newer generation of Hyundais and the Kias. So, and again, pretty much continued from the 2025, because that's what the customers wanted, a sort of simplified interior experience, and Hyundai has done that. So there are these curved displays. So there's a 12.3-inch driver's display, 12.3-inch infotainment screen, and that is joined by this single panel. There is also a fingerprint sensor to basically start the car. So instead of your key, you can use this, but then you do have to set this thing up. And this car is fairly new. When I picked it up, it was just driven 900 kilometers, and now it's just, I don't know, what, 1200. So yeah, it is like the brand new car just out, and yeah, we are currently reviewing that one. And then again, the dashboard design is the same, this dual step design. On the top, there's soft touch materials all across, but I wish this was slightly bit more softer than that. And then there is fabric material on the sides, and then this storage pad where you can put some things, and then these air conditioning vents. And there are also mood lights that are provided underneath here, this storage in the door bins and also in the footwell. And you can see this red color light out here in the center console, and those can also be customized from inside this infotainment screen. So you go inside, let this screen load up, and then you go inside the setup, and then into vehicle, and then the lights, and then there is the option of the ambient light. You can change the brightness, change the color of that, or multiple colors to choose from. So that's how you can change all the different ambient lights on the inside, and then on the sides there is like normal plastic material. Even out here, normal plastic materials. On the top face there is like glossy plastic provided around these buttons and switches, and then this wireless charging pad where are going to be resting hands, that's leather covered, and then these seats again are also the black color leather covered. They are perforated seats too. So overall the material quality is pretty good on the inside. It does feel like a step up from the previous generations of the Tucson where there was like lots of plastic, but on this it's much more functional and usable, and then there are some smart clever storages that are also provided here, and then this leather covered steering wheel too. Now when we come to the driver's display, so this is a 12.3 inch digital driver's display provided on this Tucson, and in terms of the usage it's fairly simple, again very much like the newer generation of Hyundai. So 2 dials on either side, and the theme of these dials can also be changed from inside this infotainment screen. So let me go into the setup, and then we go into the cluster head-up display, and then the cluster theme selection. So there is this simple, modern, and you can see the dials, they keep changing, and then the classic ones, and also the graphic style from style A, style B to style C. So they become red colored dials, and because this is an eco mode, so that one is still green, or you can link it to the drive mode. I like the simple one, less information and just the necessary information that you want to see, and then more information that is shown at the bottom, the different driving modes you are in, and the drive mode and the EV mode, and yeah, the auto hold and all of that stuff. And in the middle, this information can be changed using the button and the dial provided on the left side. So the first option is the compass, and then you scroll and you go into the settings, you press that hold button on this, and then you go into this infotainment screen which shows you the driving convenience, driving safety and all of that you can later on also go from inside this infotainment screen. I'm going to show you that too. And the next option is the trip information, so the current trip, what you're doing, then sensory fueling, then last reset, engine temperature, tire pressure, power distribution, and the idle mode, so how the power is being distributed across. So yeah, that's how you use it. It's fairly simple and straightforward. Now when we come to this steering wheel, so this is a round steering wheel with buttons provided on either side. There are also paddle shifters provided in the back, but these paddle shifters are used to set the regen system, so the level of regen. So when I put this car into the drive mode, so at the bottom you will be able to see the level 1, level 2 and level 3, how it goes into, or you can leave it in auto also from inside this infotainment screen. But yeah, these paddle shifters are not for shifting or anything, because this car does come with 8-speed automatic gearbox also. And there is also this sensor which is used for the smart cruise control that's been provided, so it monitors you at all the time. So there are buttons provided on the right side, so they are for the media controls and also the mode and the star button, as well as a star button provided out here. You long press it and then you can customize all these buttons out here, assign them whatever operations you want them to do. And then on the left side there are buttons provided for the smart cruise control as well as the lane keep assist, and also the buttons and the scroller for the driver's information display that you can change. And then if you've noticed this logo for Hyundai, which is like 4 dots in Morse code, it's an H. And there is also a heads up display that's been provided, shows you information like speed, navigation, media and all of that, and that also can be changed from inside this infotainment screen. Go into the setup, cluster head up display, and then you go into the heads up display, enable, disable, display adjustment, and then the content selection, turn by turn, media information, call, driving assistance, blind spot, safety information. So all of that can be changed from here. Now when we come to the air conditioning controls, so you get dual zone air conditioning system on this, and yeah, I'm glad that Hyundai has returned to these button operated and dial operated, although these are touch buttons, but still it's all right. It's not like a split option between screen and this. So that's one good thing. So the operation is fairly straightforward. Dials provided on either side to change the temperature, and in the middle the fan speed and the different modes, flow of air and all of that. And then they also have a bit of animation and also the heated steering wheel option that's been provided, 2-stage here, and then the recirculation of air, and also a driver only option which only switches on the driver side of air conditioning to make it more efficient in terms of driving, so you don't waste the cooling and consume that power. And there are also buttons provided on the edge for the heated and the cooled seats, so the driver and the passenger side seats are both the heated and the cooled seats. Really very helpful in summer out here where temperatures are like nearing 35-40 degrees. Yeah, very helpful. I've been using that plenty of times. And there is also the column shifter provided out here, which is shift by wire, so there is no stick shift out here. So at first when I was using this version on other cars like the Santa Fe and all, I thought it was a bit weird, but now it becomes quite convenient and very intuitive, because it's right there where you're going to be holding the steering wheel. So it's very easy, and again pretty easy to just change gears. So you put it into drive, neutral, reverse, or the parking, and that's about it. Straightforward, and then you just start using it without looking at it after a while. And when we come to the infotainment screen, so this is a 12.3-inch infotainment system provided on this Tucson, and the operation is pretty simple. The big information widgets that you see, so those can be also adjusted if you want to change the position of that. And then there is the inbuilt navigation system, but there is also Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, so you will use those maps from there. And the FM option, then the hybrid option, which is showing you the information like the fuel economy, electric motor use, and all of that. And it's decently snappy also, so not too bad. And then very simplified options on the screen itself. Phone projection, so in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment screen using Bluetooth, USB, and wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And then for some reason there is this voice memo option, and then the weather, the valet to lock it up, and then setup which got detailed options like driver assistance, what we saw from inside the driver's display also. Then the drive mode, so my drive mode, when you go through different driving modes, I'm going to come to that too, so that can be changed. Eco, climate, seats, lights, door, digital keys, and convenience. And digital key is where you can download an app and then store the digital key on your phone itself to lock and unlock and control the car. Then the same options are given on the outside too. Then navigation, sound, so you can Bose music system on this Tucson Hybrid. Then device connections, profile, screen layout, display, buttons, cluster, blue link, general setup, where system, time, date, language, keyboard, all of that is provided out here. Then the other options are the vehicle diagnostics, service, HD, online manual notifications, scroll down from the top, and then quick control for display, navigation, and quiet mode. So it basically reduces the volume and everything on the inside, so if there are kids sleeping, so they can get some quiet time. And there's also a split screen option too, so if you go into, let's say, the navigation, then there is the option to change different options here, so you can scroll through that, weather, compass, clock, idle mode, or back to the navigation. And then it works even inside the FM option. So the split screen option is also optional, so if you don't want to see that, so you can scroll that away too. But that's how you use the infotainment system on this Tucson. There are also buttons provided out here, shortcut ones for home, map, search, everything, and also the volume dial as well as the scroller dial. So very easy to use this one. Now when we come to the charging, so there are two Type-C USB ports and a 12-volt 180-watt power socket which has this door that opens up, and one of the ports can also become a connectivity port, as you see once you press it. So it changes the color to show you that. There is also this wireless charger, and then there are these lights that show you the charging options, so how much charging has been done on the phone using these three light bars. And For the rear passengers, there are two more Type-C USB ports provided. There is also the SOS and the assistance button that's been provided, and then the sun visors are the extendable one, and there is also the panoramic sunroof, which is pretty big. I really like the panoramic roof on this. It opens so much, like literally, like it's so big out here, and also it extends so further back, which is really nice. Makes, yeah, on a bright day, really airy setup on the inside. Now when we come to the storage, so in the door cards you can put about 1.5 liter worth of bottle and some more storage on the sides. There is this huge storage out here because this is like a floating armrest, so that's why there's this huge storage option possible here. And then this wireless charger, two flexible cup holders, this glove box, also the top face of this dashboard cut out here to put your phones and wallets. And there's also this big center armrest in which you can put like 4 half a liter worth of bottle. It's that deep on the inside. And when we come to the seats, so these are the leather seats, black color leather seats. They are perforated seats because they are the heated and the cool seats, the front ones. Soft headrest, and also the seats themselves are pretty soft. Really big, massive improvement in terms of that in the Hyundai and the Kia in general over the newer models that they've been producing. And then they are genuinely broad also and long too, just that this side support, yeah, that can be a little bit more offering, like in terms of that, but otherwise the backrest, there's good amount of side support. And yeah, the lumbar adjustment, again, that also if provided would be nicer, but overall these seats have definitely become much more comfortable for longer journeys. And in terms of the adjustability, so the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar adjustment, whereas the passenger side seat is just 8-way electronically adjustable. And there are also more buttons and switches that are provided out here. So the first one is for the drive and the terrain mode and the switch for that. So it's fairly simple to switch from drive to terrain, and then they switch to move to different modes. So there are 3 different driving modes: eco, sport and my drive. And then that my drive can be customized from here, going into the settings, and then you have the powertrain option. And look at this option, it's got the baby option, so it would optimize the driving for an infant or child in the vehicle. So maybe it would make it quieter and more softer and setup and all of that. And then steering also, that can be changed. And the different terrain modes are the snow, mud and the sand, because it comes with the H-track all-wheel drive system, so that's also possible. And it also shows you on the screen itself the different modes or the terrain modes that you switch to. So yeah, all of that information is also visible across both the screens. Now let's move into the rear and see the rear arrangement. In the rear, there is like normal plastic on the top. I wish that was soft touch material, and then again fabric material on the sides. Ergonomic resting hands, that's leather covered, glossy black plastic, and then the buttons for the heated seats. So the seats on either side are the heated seats. And in terms of the capacity, yeah, you can just put about like half a liter worth of bottle in the rear door cards. That's about it. And there is the seats that are provided out here. They are the same black color leather seats. They are perforated seats and 3 headrests, so 3 people can easily fit in the rear. But the thing is that the backrest is also adjustable, and there is a lever provided out here with which you can recline these seats during the longer journey. So that will make the journey very comfortable in the rear too. And the seats are pretty broad here in general, and they are also soft too. Like, they are mostly like flat bench type of setup. If you notice, there's a bit of an angle, that's about it. But yes, they are definitely broader also and longer too, so they provide good amount of under thigh support. There is also enough of space to slide your legs under the seat also during the longer journeys. And in terms of the knee room, there is almost 1 palm worth of knee room, and the headroom, again, that's also plenty of it, about 4 fingers, so someone about 6 foot 2 inches still would be able to fit in the back of the Tucson. And there's also this hand rest with 2 normal cup holders. It's got a bit of a slope also, so it inclined downwards, and then yeah, there's just little space in the back after that to put your or rest your hands out there. And there is also a bit of a step out here, and if you are the middle passengers, the bit in the middle is slightly on the firmer side, as well as the backrest also, because that is a hand rest. And there are two air conditioning vents provided, which is going to make things a lot more bearable in the rear, because with these comfortable seats this is going to be a perfect combination. And two USB type C ports. There's extra bit of cutout also provided to give you extra bit of knee room. These netted storages on the back side of the driver and the passenger side seat. But overall, yes, the new Tucson still offers the same level of comfort, practicality, and a lot of sense for the rear passengers. So this 2026 Tucson Ultimate Hybrid is powered by a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine and an electric motor, and that is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission that sends power to all the wheels via the H-track all-wheel drive system. And in terms of the power figures, so the combined produces 231 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque. And in terms of the overall power delivery, it's very smooth, it's zippy, you know, especially if you're accelerating. Yeah, initially the motors tend to take over, and then it gives you that smoother acceleration, fills in that gap at the lower end where there is the lack of power and torque, and then the turbocharged engine kicks over because the revs also build up, and then the turbocharger kicks up. So let me show you. Yeah, it is quite fast in terms of its acceleration. It's smooth, so overall it's very good. And in terms of the EV and the engine utilization, it does that very cleverly, and just that the battery needs to be charged at least 25% to be able to use pure EV mode. But anyways, beyond 30-40 kilometers per hour, then it just switches to the engine to accelerate. And at highways it utilizes in between, you know, the EV mode also to just maximize the efficiency. Now in terms of the efficiency, so on longer journeys on highways, I've managed to get around 5.5 to 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Within the city, I've managed to do between 6.8 to 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, for a fact that there are other, you know, competitors like the RAV4 Hybrid, and that does a better, you know, fuel economy. So maybe, yeah, that can be improved in terms of, you know, being a little more efficient from this overall setup. Now, when we come to the suspensions, again, they are pretty much on the comfortable side, not much roll or anything, and they absorb the bumps very well. When you come to the steering, there's an electronic steering, and it responds pretty well. Like, it does the job very well for day-to-day use. Good amount of feedback, even though this is an electronic steering. You put it into sport mode, yeah, it becomes slightly stiffer, that's about it. And also there are different driving modes, as I said. The baby mode especially, you can utilize that to have a comfortable ride quality. But yes, the steering is pretty responsive and pretty satisfied overall for day-to-day usage. Now when we come to the noise and the vibrations, there's a bit of tire noise, that's about it, and some more wind whooshing from around. Otherwise the engine feels fairly quiet, and as I said, this car is pretty new, so yeah, it's all intact right now. And also the build quality seems to be pretty good, so nothing rattling or loose as such. When we come to the brakes, so there are 4 disc brakes, and the braking action is pretty good. It's pretty firm. The brake pedal is progressive. Again, it's just done a little over 1,000 kilometers, so the brake is pretty bitey that ways. And when we come to the safety system, so there are 8 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are also 2 side airbags for the rear passengers, and 2 curtain airbags given in the pillars. There is also a brilliant 360-degree camera system. Really like it. It's got so much of clarity, resolution, good resolution for sure, and so many views to select from: front, rear, full screen view, and also the 360-degree view, and really smooth 360 view, so you can get a look around. There are child isofix points in both the rear seats, and the rattling, if you're hearing something, that's the child seat that I've put. That is what is rattling. Otherwise, the car that way is pretty quiet. So, continuing with the safety systems, there's ABS, tire pressure monitoring system, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, smart cruise control, the blind spot warning, and the rear and the front collision warnings, pedestrian warnings, the rear seat reminder. And the thing about the blind spot warning is that it tends to detect something sometimes on the sides, but some of the times it's so late that the object has passed or you've cleared the object and it still thinks that there is some object around, and then it breaks it. So it's very erratic and irritating some of the times, because it just tends to lock the car and will not move and show you warnings on the screen. So something that can be worked. Maybe it becomes less sensitive to all of that. I get it, it wants to warn me, but then warn me at that time and not once it's done, because it's doing that all the time. Now, when we come to the pricing, so the 2026 model, there is no clear pricing currently that's been put up on the website, but it should be starting, if there's a base variant, around 39,000 Canadian dollars, whereas this ultimate variant should be coming in somewhere around 50,000 Canadian dollars. So expect it to be more or less the same pricing like the previous generation. So in terms of the pricing, it's a pretty good one to pay for a hybrid product, and especially, as I mentioned, this is a do it all and give it all. Like, it literally does everything. It can do anything. And in terms of the all-wheel drive also, it's pretty good with cleverly managing the power also, especially if there are 3 different driving modes, the terrain modes that you can utilize if it's snowy. And then it will do light bit of maybe off-roading and stuff, but yes, it will do all of it, and it gives you so much. It gives you practicality, space, looks, it grows on you, and you see them all around. So I'm pretty sure everyone likes them so much. So there is no doubt that this car pretty much delivers, and maybe over delivers on so many things. It's just that it will not make you feel like it's a special car, but when you drive it for longer times, you will realize that this thing really becomes a part of your everyday life, and it does the job very effortlessly. And I'm pretty sure that's why everyone likes to own this car and drive it. And with the hybrid setup, you're gonna save like a lot of fuel cost also. And plug-in hybrid is something, if you want to invest into that, but then you have to charge and all that. But hybrid is something which I prefer, because it's just ready to go and then just drive it and not worry about anything. So it's still definitely going to be a worthy contender even in 2026 and still in 2025 also. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to press the subscription button and leave all the notifications on by pressing that bell icon, so that you're notified every single time a new review comes out. And also press the thumbs up button if you've liked this video. I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye, take care, and drive safe.